What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Jose Show. Happy Wednesday. I hope that everyone is enjoying their lovely day. But anywho, let's get into the hot topic, shall we? Now let's talk about the one and only Luigi Mangione. So as we all know, Luigi Mangione recently got arrested at a McDonald's for being the suspect of being the shooter of the CEO of United Healthcare, who happens to be Brian Thompson. Well, the McDonald's where suspected United Healthcare CEO killer Luigi Mangione was apprehended is on high alert. Police presence has been beefed up whether they want it or not. So Altoona police tells TMZ they have increased patrols around the local McDonald's where Luigi Mangione was nabbed on Monday. TMZ was told the additional eyes on the restaurant will likely continue at least until Mangione is hauled off to New York City, something he's currently fighting in court. Okay, so per the police staff at the McDonald's didn't ask for the patrols, but it is common practice when a high-profile crime occurs. Not to mention cops are aware of all the vague hatred popping up online for its involvement in the capture of Mangione. Okay, so as TMZ previously reported, Mangione was arrested in the Altoona McDonald's on Monday after a customer reportedly saw him and recognized him from suspect photos, prompting a store employee to call the police. Alright, so Mangione was later charged with second-degree murder in connection with the December 4th shooting of insurance executive Brian Thompson. He also faces gun and forgery charges in Pennsylvania. So supporters of Mangione have since flooded the Yelp page for the McDonald's with negative reviews, suggesting the establishment is infested with rats. Alright, so Altoona police tells us that nothing criminal or disturbing has happened at the location, but they've decided to be proactive in the wake of the online hate. Okay, so police are unaware of any threats to the employee who called the police, though we're sure the person is relieved about the beefed up security nonetheless. Alright, so this is really insane. I believe that this guy definitely is going to spend the rest of his freaking life in prison for what he just did. And I also believe that it's really crazy how they're definitely making a big deal about this McDonald's place, because I mean, I understand that, this Luigi guy got caught at this McDonald's, but what I don't understand is why are they still making a big deal out of it now that this guy got caught? Because it's not like the guy is going to return to that McDonald's anyways. And let's also remember that this guy that ended up calling the police and told them that he saw or she saw Luigi Mangione at this McDonald's, unfortunately did not get rewarded a lot of the money that they promised. I believe that the reason to why he or she did not get rewarded a lot of the money that the police promised is because I believe that there was some conflict going on with being qualified or something like that really prevented this guy or this girl from getting rewarded a bunch of money for catching this suspect in the first place, which to me is really unfair, because I believe that since this person ended up catching the suspect in the first place at this McDonald's, this person definitely deserves a bunch of the money that the police promised in the first place, because it was not so freaking easy having to capture this person in the first place, since this person was out and about hiding in other places, pretending to be something else, and also hiding their own identity with their sweater and wearing a hoodie on and this and that. I even remember. And Luigi Mangione, man, was like so active in hiding in the places. This person, I believe, was more active than freaking Carmen Sandiego at this point because of how active the person was. And I'm not trying to be funny here. I'm just trying to be serious. And let's also remember that Luigi Mangione too was that same person that was, out there smiley towards other people out and about, acting like he didn't do anything wrong. And yet what's funny is that these people that Luigi Mangione was talking to in the first place didn't even recognize Luigi Mangione in the first place, and they just went off and were like, okay, well, this person is like any other person, we're not going to capture this person at all, and blah blah blah. And Luigi Mangione just went off and walked away like whatever. And I'm so glad though that this person that was at this McDonald's was ended up being smart enough into catching Luigi Mangione and ended up calling the police on him. Okay, now I really do wonder though when this sentencing is going to be for this Luigi Mangione dude, because I really want to know a bunch of the time that Luigi Mangione is going to be serving in prison, or if this person, Luigi Mangione, is going to end up serving the death penalty for what he just did, especially because I just found out that he isn't just getting charged for murder. He's getting charged for second-degree murder, because I believe this is not the first time he ends up in a situation like this, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see what happens. Let's see. And, I just think that this guy is just already admitting to his own faults anyways, because, he's already, looking very serious in the mugshots, like, oh, well, oh, whatever, I did what I did. He's not declining anything. He's not resisting arrest, nor nothing. So, hey. But anywho, on to the next topic. Now let's talk about Lily Phillips. So OnlyFans star Lily Phillips would not recommend sleeping with 101 men in a single day. Well, a clip from YouTuber Josh Peters' brand new documentary, I Slept with 100 Men in One Day, shows the 23-year-old OnlyFans star moments after number 100. So the footage shows the London living star walking out of the bedroom wearing a casual striped set of clothes in the aftermath of her day's work. So she got to say this: "It's not for the weak girls, if I'm honest. It was hard," she said, getting choked up and with tears in her eyes. "I don't know if I'd recommend it. It's a different feeling. It's just one in, one out. It feels intense." Okay, so it all started back in October when Phillips announced that she wanted to host an event where she would sleep with 100 of her male fans for a video. The plan catapulted her to stardom and caught the eye of documentary maker Peters. So, in the beginning of the documentary, she told Peters that she had been creating R-rated content since she was in university. She explained that her parents were supportive of her decisions and that her business has grown to have 9 people on the payroll under her. So during the documentary, Peters is horrified after he enters the room where the feat took place. He dry-heaved at the bedroom, which was littered with lube, used condoms, wrappers, and tissues from the past 14 hours. All right, so was it more intense than you thought it might? Peters asked. Okay, and then that question caused Phillips to tear up before whispering, "Definitely." She then walked into the next room crying, "I had to stop the interactions early, and you'd have to stand on business and say, 'I'm sorry, you've got to go.'" She recalled of the day with some men. Oh Lord. So there was the awkward interaction of you feeling pressure to make them if you haven't spent enough time with them and you didn't give them a good time, she continued. Okay, so this is really insane. I understand where this girl is coming from, because I believe that when you are in a university, you must pay all of the freaking expenses, especially if you are not qualified for financial aid. And in order to pay for the freaking expenses, you have to get a freaking job. And it was either going out to a freaking McDonald's or going out to a freaking Denny's and be a waitress, or, be an OnlyFans star and make money from the content there. And for her, it was way easier to be making content on OnlyFans, because unfortunately these days OnlyFans is the big deal, because so many people love to watch adult content on OnlyFans, especially hot, sexy girls like Lily Phillips, for example. And man, did she really get a good amount of clients to be sleeping with her in order to make a really good amount of money out of the content that she would make with these clients. And I believe that it's just so darn at the same time traumatizing and sad that this poor girl was actually going through a very uncomfortable situation while sleeping with over 100 guys in just one day just to be making money. Because, as good as it sounds having to have sex, it could also be really horrifying and really intensifying having to do it with so many guys or so many girls, because, when it gets tired, it gets tired. And, when it gets sore, it gets sore. Okay? And let's also remember that this girl maybe put herself in a situation where maybe she ended up getting STDs. Maybe. I'm not saying she did, because, it was over 100 men that she got to sleep with. And also, another thing that I have to say is, this girl also, unfortunately might get shamed. She might get made fun of because of the decision that she just made into sleeping with over 100 guys for OnlyFans content because, unfortunately, it's just so easy for people to be judging and to be humiliating others for the decisions that they make, especially when it comes to naughty content like OnlyFans, for example. So anyways, if I was this girl, I would just, try to do something different and try to do something cleaner. Or maybe just, learn from the situation that she went through and just move on from the situation and do something different from there. Because, that's how we grow as human beings and that's how we grow as people. So anyways, Lily Phillips, just make better choices. All right, now on to the next topic. Now let's talk about Nicole Richie. So it didn't take long for Nicole Richie to realize that Joe Madden was the one for her. Okay, so Richie opened up about her relationship with the Good Charlotte rocker during her appearance on the Call Her Daddy podcast Wednesday, where she revealed the now married couple were set up. Okay, so a friend set us up, Richie revealed when asked how she met Madden. Our friend set us up, not in a serious way at all. She was like, you're single, he's single, so this is not going to be serious, but you guys should hang out. Okay, so apparently she continued, Joel is very shy. The first night I've met him, he actually didn't speak to me and I was like, this is my husband. So anyways, even though they didn't really speak during that first night out, Richie knew that Madden was into her romantically. So she got to say he ended up texting or email. I don't know. Richie added whatever was happening back then. So Richie said the pair initially bonded over pop culture interests, mainly their should we say this? Love for the HBO TV show The Wire, which Madden was super into at the time. So anyways, apparently, she told Madden the truth a few years into the relationship, but we have since rewatched The Wire. All right, so anyways, 4 years after their 2006 meeting, Richie and Madden announced that they were engaged by December of 2010. They were married. The couple have since welcomed 2 kids, daughter Harlow, 16, and son Sparrow, 15. Okay, so this is really cute of a story that I'm hearing here, that Joe Madden and this girl, the one and only Nicole Richie, ended up falling in love. Because I believe that, when it comes to love stories, they have a really beautiful beginning, they have a really cute beginning, and I believe that's the kind of beginning that we all want for our lives, especially love lives. Now, I think that Nicole Richie was not shy enough into expressing how the whole entire love story went down in the first place, because basically Nicole Richie wanted to express that things really did work out with her and Joe Madden after all, and things did not go very sour, and that basically they both had the confidence to approach each other and, get together in so many days and get together in so many ways and, basically just reveal to each other the love that they had for each other and still have for each other. And it's just so darn honest and it's so darn valid, because I believe that that is the sign of love right there that Nicole Richie is basically trying to let us know, because, with love, there's communication, and with love, of course, there's a lot of connection. And I believe that things got so well in between the both of them that they ended up having 2 kids together, which, by the way, are now teenagers. And by the way, the couple, like I said, are still together. And like I said too, these two really were meant for each other in the first place, because these two really got to find so much connection and so much mutuality in between each other after all. And what's even more interesting too, by the way, is that we have noticed that these two are not controversial. They are not, going up to doing dumb things. They are, keeping it peaceful. They're keeping it clean. They're not hitting one another. They're not yelling at one another. They're not doing doing a bunch of ridiculous things towards one another. And also, they, at the end of the day, respect one another. I mean, I understand that I'm sure that they both have had their differences throughout the many years that they've been together, of course, like many other people, because there's no such thing as a perfect relationship, but they have been working it out together and they have been supportive of one another, which is the key right there. And let's also remember that these two are very young, and since they are very young, they of course have a lot of mutuality towards each other, because I mean, imagine if Nicole Richie and Joe Madden were to have that huge age gap, and they were to be together and they would end up trying to get connections towards one another. I believe it would not work out at all, because basically when it comes to an age gap, like what we've seen with many other celebrities, for example, there would be so much conflict. There would be so much ridiculousness. There would be so much stupidity. Because, I mean, yes, there is this thing supposedly that love has no age, but in reality, I feel like love does have an age, because there's just so much conflict, like I said, and it's just so darn awful. And here there is no love gap, there is no age gap, there is just nothing but mutuality. So that's amazing right there. So anyways, I hope that Nicole Richie and Joe Madden are here to stay forever as a couple. Now on to the next topic. Now let's talk about Gary Turner. So Gary Turner is finally sharing some news about his surprising split from Teresa Niss, who he married on The Golden Bachelor, and it turns out a cancer diagnosis played a major role. Alright, so Gary and Teresa got hitched shortly after getting engaged during the inaugural season of the new spin on the popular dating show, which aired in November of 2023, but a mere 3 months after the big wedding, it was Splitsville. So in an interview with People, Gary Turner revealed that after tying the knot, he was diagnosed with the slow-growing bone marrow cancer called Waldenstrom's macroglobulinemia. In addition to the stress and worry about the battle ahead, the couple was having issues when it came to figuring out other life logistics, like where they would live, but that was all a secondary factor to the diagnosis. Okay, so long story short, after the jarring news, Gary wanted his life to continue on as normal as possible, and that led me to believing that as normal as possible more meant spending time with my family, my 2 daughters, my 2 son-in-laws, my granddaughters. Okay, so, and that decision meant Teresa would need to take a backseat in his life, which ain't conducive to a successful marriage, especially one just getting off the ground, so they called it quits. So noting that he wished Teresa all the best, he plans on living life as full as possible, meaning pack as much fun as I possibly can into my life and enjoy every moment. And when I'm gone, but I'm not going to have regrets. Okay, so this is really sad. I believe that Teresa Niss should have still stayed by Gary's side, because I believe that a true wife will stay by a husband's side, especially in the tough moments. Because here is the thing, even though Gary Turner wanted to spend time with his family and take a backseat in life, yet again, he still needed all of the support from his wife, because if he would have gotten all of the support from his wife, then trust me, I believe that Gary, yes, would still be suffering throughout the whole entire cancer thing, but at the same time, he would be emotionally better because he has all of the support from his own boo, and also, of course, from the family especially. But here's the thing, I believe that Teresa was expecting that Gary Turner would be completely healthy and that he would be completely active enough to be having all of these beautiful plans with her, and to going into a beautiful mansion with her, and maybe going into a beautiful trip to Puerto Vallarta with her, or to the Bahamas or wherever, and that it would be sexually active life as well with him and her, and blah blah blah. I believe those were the things that Teresa Niss was actually expecting from the man, which is the reason to why this whole entire split happened in the first place, and I don't think that's fair at all. Because here is the thing, love ain't all about the sex, love ain't all about the luxuries, love is about being there for the person, respecting the person, and also being faithful towards the person. Okay, And also, I can imagine that this whole entire split is already causing a huge, huge emotional breakdown for poor Gary Turner, because Gary Turner, I'm pretty sure, still wanted to be married to this girl. And I'm pretty sure that since this guy is already going through an emotional breakdown, this guy, unfortunately, is not going to be surviving the whole entire cancer. And I'm not trying to be negative here. I'm just saying this because if there's one thing that really gives you a huge emotional decline, especially a huge health decline, is having to be splitting from a person that you truly loved. And another thing that I have to say is that now that Gary Turner only has his family by his side, which by the way is really amazing, yet again, I believe that it's not going to be the same, because I believe that at the end of the day, Gary Turner still wants to live his life on his own with a woman. But you know what, Gary Turner, please stay safe, please take good care of yourself, and please do the best you can to focus on the positives, focus on your family, focus on your well-being, focus on you, please. All right, now on to the next topic. Okay, now let's talk about Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. So, Justin Trudeau's sure Kamala Harris would have made more progress for women than Donald Trump slamming the US for not advancing feminism and branding himself as a feminist. Okay, so the Prime Minister of Canada spoke at an event for the Equal Voice Foundation, an organization dedicated to improving gender representation in politics, and he took his close ally, the United States, to task, saying the recent election of Donald Trump didn't progress women's rights. All right, so there's a video showing that basically Trudeau says Kamala would have been better for women than Trump, saying the rights of women were supposed to be on a steady, if difficult, incline. Okay, so apparently, however, Trudeau says just a few weeks ago, America voted against its second female candidate running for a major party, implying this move will impede the progress of women's rights. Okay, so obviously many women disagreed with the Prime Minister. Trump won 45% of women's votes, a huge amount many experts didn't predict would vote for him. So it's an interesting statement by Trudeau, basically a veiled shot at President-elect Trump, who he'll have to work with for the next 4 years. Okay. So the two have fraught relationship, with Trump pushing conspiracy theories about Trudeau being Fidel Castro's son, and recently calling the PM the governor of the great state of Canada. And okay, so this is really weird. I believe that Trump needs to back off with Justin Trudeau, and I believe that Justin Trudeau is actually making a really good point here, that here in America, we are actually not getting a lot of progress with women, especially when it comes to women's rights, because it's just so freaking sad how just 1 month ago, we elected a man, another man, as our president instead of electing our first female president like it should be. And also, what's even worse of it all is that we ended up electing somebody that is a convicted felon to be our president, somebody that is a fraud, somebody that is an assaulter, somebody that is basically a threat to our democracy and to our country, which to me is not only very low but also very embarrassing. And I believe that if we would have elected Kamala Harris as our first female president, we would be improving in America when it comes to women's rights to get an abortion, women's rights to be getting equal pay in jobs, women's rights to be getting so and so when it comes to other things in this country, because I believe that it is about damn time that women be getting the rights that they deserve, especially to be equally treated as what men are, especially because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, I am so sick and tired that here in America we are not progressing as a country, especially towards women. I am sick and tired that we in America, we are still focused in the lifetimes of the 1950s, 1940s, where women didn't have a lot of rights at all, and we are still stuck in this mindset that men are only supposed to be controlling the country, and that men are only supposed to be controlling everything else, especially controlling women's rights and women's bodies, because it's just so darn freaking unfair after all. We have to stop with all of the stupidity after all, ladies and gentlemen. And Justin Trudeau is basically trying to wake our eyes up, for God's sakes, weeks, and I know that Kamala Harris is not, scaring down from the whole entire competition, because I heard that Kamala Harris is going to be running for president in 2028, and she is going to be definitely the winner, hopefully. And I'm just saying, call me crazy, call me desperate, I don't care, but that is just what I think. And another thing that I have to say about this is, the fact that now Trump is in office, it's going to be taking not just a huge effect on women, but also it's going to be making a huge effect on the immigrants, on the American people in general. So it's going to be a very scary ride throughout the next 4 years, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, it's going to be a scary ride. But anyway, I really wish that, there would be a recount when it comes to the election counts. I really wish, because I just feel like there was just some kind of rigged election going on here. I'm just saying. But anyways, it is what it is, unfortunately, that Trump is our president, and it is what it is, unfortunately, that we still couldn't make history into electing our very first female president. But it'll happen, and I really am positive, and I'm really am confident of that. Okay, so now on to the next topic. Now let's talk about Sabrina Carpenter. So Sabrina Carpenter's had a roller coaster of a year, and she's keeping the wild vibes going, showing off her bold style during an outing in New York City. Okay, so the actor owned the Big Apple streets Wednesday, turning heads in a black Lily Rubin mini dress with a bold leopard print, collar, buttons, and cuffs. Okay, so Sabrina skipped none of the glamour, by the way. Her makeup was flawless, and her voluminous blowout was pure perfection. But let's be clear, her best accessory was that killer smile, and she's got plenty to grin about, especially after being one of this year's most popular artists. Okay, so in fact, her music's been topping all the charts so much that it also popped up on her own Spotify Wrapped for 2024. Looks like there's no escaping Sabrina, not even for Sabrina herself. Alright, so this is really amazing what I'm hearing here. I believe that Sabrina Carpenter is definitely killing it this year, not just with her looks, but also with her music, because the girl has been topping the charts like crazy this year, and never would I imagine that Sabrina Carpenter would end up topping the charts this year, because let's remember that throughout the past 10 years that Sabrina Carpenter has been in the music business, Sabrina Carpenter hasn't been topping the charts at all. And let's also be honest that now that Sabrina Carpenter is topping the charts, Sabrina Carpenter has been highly praised by so many music critics for her music, because her recent music is really good. Please, Please, Please is a really good song. Espresso is also a really good song. And also the rest of her album of Short and Sweet is very good, man. It's definitely a really good album. And let's remember that that album is up for Album of the Year at the Grammys this upcoming year. And let's remember that Espresso is up for Record and Song of the Year at the Grammys this upcoming year as well. So that is already coming to show how successful Sabrina Carpenter is. And it's also very amazing, by the way, that now she is barely getting a bunch of success after 10 years, because I believe that throughout the previous years that she's been in the business, she should have also gotten a lot of success as well, because let's remember that the other music that Sabrina Carpenter released back in the previous years, like 2019, 2018, have been really good songs. They have been really good songs to be listening to, but I believe that the reason to why Sabrina Carpenter didn't have a lot of success in the previous years is because I believe the record label that she was in or has been in didn't really do her justice, because I believe that the success of your own music depends on the record label itself, since the record label is doing you a bunch of promotion, and I believe they didn't really give her a lot of promotion back in the day. I think that could have been the case here. And now, by the way, I believe that Sabrina Carpenter is on her way to definitely breaking more records now that she is already doing a really good job with her recent music, that's for sure. Because I mean, now I can imagine that in her next music that she's going to be releasing, maybe in the next year or 2 years, she is going to be breaking records. She's going to be basically, having the song that is going to be the most streamed song in 24 hours on Spotify, maybe. She's maybe going to have, I don't know, the most watched video on YouTube in 24 hours. Maybe she's going to have the record for, I don't know, the most streamed song in a week on Spotify, maybe. Something like that, you know. Or maybe the most streamed song, the fastest song to reach 100 million in a few days, maybe. Maybe she can have that record too. Who knows? Because I just believe that it's just definitely in her hands that she's going to be breaking records in the next music that she's going to be releasing, which God knows when that's going to be. So anyways, I do congratulate Sabrina Carpenter for having all of the success that she's been having, and I'm really proud of her, especially because she is one of those Disney girlies, let's remember, that basically got to cross roads from Disney to music, just like Miley Cyrus, Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato, you name it, and also Olivia Rodrigo as well. And it's very amazing that happens with Sabrina Carpenter, by the way, that she gets to cross roads from Disney to music and now have success with music, because I believe that not anybody that gets to be crossing roads from Disney to music gets to be having a lot of success, you know, because unfortunately a lot of these artists are just well known for being on Disney, and they're not well known for being the musicians that they are. So anyways, congratulations, Sabrina, on your success. We love you. All right, now that is it for today's show, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's lovely episode of The Jose Show. Till next time, and peace.